Here we are at Howard University. I don't know how many of you are students here, but how many of you really and truly are professional C students? Just enough to get by. Just enough to get by. And so on another level, you are not much better than the people who are just trying to get by, who haven't gone to college. And that's what I want to ask, that we have to discuss at some point, when you have free time with each other. The question is, are some people dead? If it is that you are willing to take prison as opposed to a life outside, with certainly more freedom outside than being incarcerated, are you dead? If you say that your home is not as good as a prison cell, but you have the freedom that they don't have in prison, are you dead? If your excuse is, or if you know someone whose excuse for selling crack and being responsible for maybe 100 deaths, 100 robberies, 100 battered women, and you say this is so you can put your mother in a better home, are you dead? If you see and you notice kids who don't want to hang and they're studying, and you decide to get a group together and pull them over and beat them up, or make them join your group that isn't studying, and you have the nerve to use a phrase like, "you're acting white," are you dead? Some people don't seem to understand the lock that they've put on themselves. You live in the projects and you hear somebody say, "I'm getting out of here," and you get mad at them and say, what's wrong with the projects? There's a lot that you have to think about. The projects were never built for generations of families, the same last name, to take the apartment one after the other. The projects is set so that while you're not doing well, momentarily, people come, and the biggest thing is pride. My great-grandparents were immigrants. And they came, and my father took it, and grandfather, and worked, and I'm the first to graduate from college, and I'm a doctor, and so forth and so on. Yet, there are people in the projects, 5 generations, still there. Anybody here from Chicago? No, Chicago went up 2 boys, not even dry yet from coming out of the mother. Threw another one off the building. No, just threw them right off. Are they dead? When we can have our young coming out and deciding that they're already dead at age 9, 10, 13, the young boys throwing another one off the 12th floor because he wouldn't do something they said. Threw him off. They don't have to see it in a movie. They just went up and threw him off. When 10-year-old girls decide that they want to practice sex so they can have a baby at 12, are they dead? You have to discuss this because it isn't going to be solved by shaking a finger at somebody. We've been shaking fingers too long. Dr. King said, I have a dream. It's time for us to wake up. Time to wake up. I have a dream. That's wonderful. He gave you that message. What did you do with it? When young girls still listen to Snarp Farky Park or whoever it is, and he's calling you bitches and hoes and said the only reason why you because you want a free dinner and a thing, and you're up in the room playing the music. And people say, listen, do you know what he said? See, yeah, but it's got a good beat. Are you dead? Are you dead? What do you mean he doesn't mean any harm? Couldn't have. You bought the album. You're worse than he is. And we're going to stop blaming people. We're going to stop blaming other people. The buck stops in the discussion. You go to Howard University, the old money was student loan. You don't have any intention of paying it back. So you're making it tougher for the next African Americans to come to Howard. Are you dead? Are you dead? Are you dead that you're leaving nothing for your descendants? Are you dead? Ask some of the graduates who've never sent a penny to Howard University. Send them a note and thank them for nothing. And then ask them if they'd like to change their minds. Ask them if they're dead. You mean to tell me you can't afford $5? You can sit up on a certain afternoon, buy a shot of scotch, I bet you. Bet you can get a pack of cigarettes. Give up something. So we got to find out if some of these people are really dead, because the way they're acting, they've given up on themselves already. Sometimes we have to look at the elders of the village and ask them if they're dead. University presidents. We have to ask the board of trustees, are they dead? We have to ask the board of trustees why they bring in certain people. supposed to be educating Americans. I've never known at any point, at any time, when we had, as African Americans, advanced so far that we could steal from each other. First of all, we don't have that much. So it's noticed right away. Secondly, you didn't get that much. Go on over to Coca-Cola and take $2 million. And then go to a nice prison. Nice prison. Not the ones that, you know, they lock up rapists and stuff in. Steal $2 million, they send you play golf. People put your IQ in the paper, keep asking the same question. What went wrong? Now, how many of you gonna sit up here from time to time, listen to Farrakhan, and you cheer from sitting out, right on, and you go out and do nothing? Do nothing. Jesse Jackson comes, right on. Thing is over, you go outside, do nothing. Don't even talk about it, you know. Boom, bop. Practicing walking. And some people are dead. Some are dead. Listen to a politician tell you that it was somebody else's fault. Somebody else's fault. I don't know how to smoke crack. A beautiful woman came up to me and said, you know, you can make love to me if you smoke crack. I said, well, where is it? It's in the bathroom back there. You have to put it all together and I'll get myself ready for you. Be a long time before I come out of that bathroom. I don't know what to do with it. I don't know where to put it. I'm talking about the crack. So I'm wondering how you can be set up. But yet the voters they push and talk about some mythical white people. Mythical white people set me up. So mythical white people came in the projects. Mythical white people in America. Well, the problem is the dead people are waiting to be given something. And when the time comes and they get it, they're not going to be ready to deliver anyway. So what would happen, man? So, well, man, that's the guy gave me they set me up to fail. It's white people, man. So what are you talking about? Well, the guy came by and gave us $1 million to run the thing. And we just went downhill with it. Well, what happened? Well, they didn't show us how to spend it. I said, wait a minute. They gave you $1 million, then they had to show you how to spend it? What you doing asking for it? Do you understand what I'm saying? You don't start a business and start with the building looking like you've been in business 100 years. You start a business in your basement. When the time is right, you move to the first floor of your house. But if you want an excuse, well, I don't have a computer, I don't have a building, I don't have cars, man, I need cars to go here and there. Read any success story, any business person, man or woman. They didn't start with a 4-story marble building with rugs. They had linoleum floors, and the parents looked at them and said, "Are you crazy? Burning a hole in my linoleum rug?" John Johnson sold his mother's furniture. With her permission, by the way. Got $500 to start Ebony magazine. Now, what are you going to do about that? What's your excuse? What's your excuse? Well, it's already established. I mean, that was then. This is now. You can go down the hall. I mean, I just need a loan for $1 million, then I can. You don't know how to run a magazine with $1 million yet. Start with your low end. You people want to make movies. First thing you start writing, people, I want real people, I want real black people. Kind that go out frighten white people at the malls. Your movies have no tenderness. They don't even have foreplay. Foreplay, they don't even have foreplay. You know what the foreplay is in most of these movies? John, stop. Stop. Come on now, I'm not playing. That's foreplay. I showed this to you because there's no cursing in that. And there's certainly nobody jumping on bone jumping. There are people trying to figure out what went wrong. People who care and people who forgive. And there's a policeman in this who said, I want the boy to say it. Because if he doesn't, he never will be worth anything. We're going to catch him. We know we have him. But I want him to say it. There's a touching and a feeling and a caring and a respect in this movie. Yeah, a lot of old people, but young people. And I didn't try to make it real, because what is real? And what is black? And how many different tiers of black have we? You all go to college, come from Chicago, come from Detroit, come from Philly, come from Peoria, come from California. The Richard Pryor's family? California, all over. Seattle, Washington. Come here, black people, come from all over the place. There's no contest. I'm blacker than you. Okay, if you're blacker than me, then what does that mean? How do you get to be blacker than me? This is a real black man there. This is a real black woman. All right, what do they look like? How do they walk? How do they talk? Real black. So I know real black. Really? you'll get fooled, because some people have more patience than others, but will still do the same amount of damage if you make them angry. Some people will fly off the handle very quickly. And I've seen people who never raised their voice. The teeth separated about 1/4 of an inch. And they never moved their lips, it seemed. But the eyes said, if you do that again, you're going to be in trouble. I was born in 1937. We were told constantly where to sit, where to stand, where to go, and we don't want you in some places. In Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. When you are a child growing up in the United States of America and constantly being told, no, that's not right, you can't make it there. Even to the point where heroes, I wasn't sure of them. Heroes could have embarrassed me. Marian Anderson's going to sing in front of the statue of Abraham Lincoln. And I said, oh God, please don't let her hit a bad note. I'll be so embarrassed. Who am I to be embarrassed? But I had that feeling. And it went all over the nation. Why? Because they said she couldn't sing. Lips too thick, skin too dark is what they mean. Nothing to do with lips. And all of you out there have to understand that it's still the same. And I'm saying, you have better today. See, Howard University, to me, those of you who went to high schools, integrated, not integrated, you come here, and Howard University represents and can represent upon your enthusiasm, if you're not dead, represents your country. Follow me now. Chinese people have China. They study, they come here, they take the SATs, and they go wherever they want to go. Princeton, Berkeley, so forth and so on. Not all of them, not all of them. People come from Italy. People come from England, Britain, Sweden, whatever. They have countries. We live in the United States of America, which has stipulations for us. Some we can get through because of a right person, without guilt, said, yeah, hey man, stop this, come on. But Howard University is your country. This is where you come to get to feel that all of the things the Marian Andersons and Ken Shee and Ken Jesse and Ken Joe Lewis and Ken Michael Jordan, but we don't see our astronauts yet. We don't see our brain surgeons. We don't see the surgeons that separated Siamese twins. Very fuzzy. But it's here with your professors that you begin to see people who are extremely bright, knowledgeable, have it together, and care about you. Now you want to be a professional C student and leave this country and go out there and embarrass Marian Anderson. I want you to write a letter to your professors, especially the ones that you cut and shortchanged. Tell them you're sorry. And begin to pick up the pieces. This is your country. This is where you learn that you are tough. This is where you learn when you walk down that aisle and your parents are sitting up there and they got about 25 cents left. These are the graduations where the little children run around on that day, just running up and down aisles. This is where grandma, with or without a walker, comes because Jesus has blessed her. And you want to come here and be a professional C student with your jive self. Are you dead? I don't care if you don't know what you want to be, but please don't use an excuse of, well, you know, people make a decision and then they have to turn around and then they can't be whatever. Man, just work hard. Everything you get, you take a course, you say, I want to know. This is your country. And the only way you're going to build strength is right here. Because when you come out of here, you're going to go to some graduate school somewhere. And they're going to look at you and say, where are you from? So, I'm from Howard. So yeah, that's the place where they laughed and cheered when O.J. Simpson was freed. That's your only claim to fame, huh? Nobody came up and asked you why you cheered, did they? They just said, you cheered. That's old style. You know, they're not going to ask because they're afraid they'll get a decent answer. This United States of America is about everything, whether it's hidden or out there. Supposedly, college graduates are supposedly the strength of our country. If that's so, then why do the drug dealers stand out? Why do pregnant teenagers stand out? Why is a rundown neighborhood black? And if you live in the suburbs, you are not black. Because if you know a dessert spoon from a teaspoon, you are not black. And if you don't eat chitlins or never tasted them, so people now, in terms of pride, they name their children these Muslim African names. Say Kadeem, Rashid. And I see them on the 6 o'clock news going into the police station. Handcuffs. Stab somebody in the back over a 25-cent chain. They forgot the name, didn't they? Didn't they forget what the name was supposed to mean? I mean, if you name somebody something of strength and the power of God, you would think that the person would say, that's who I am, and the mother would explain it. And then the person would adhere to it and carry it on. And don't we have enough days where people can recognize their blackness, their Americanness? Because this is America. No sense in running away from it. You want to major in black English? Not yet. Not till you get a black business. Not till you get a black airport. With a black landing tower. Then you can say, no, you're going to have to speak black English coming in here. Are you dead? This fight is about progress. And you're never going to progress if you are male unless you recognize the female, not the way the Bible wrote about the female, but the way the female ought to be treated. Now, I'm sorry to say that many females have to treat the female the way the female ought to be treated. But you have to have respect, and you have to pass it on to your siblings. I'm asking you to go out into the community if you can, if you are willing, and find as many dead people as you can. Try and bring them back to life. Because you really don't need somebody to say one thing and then pull back on another. And you know the people I'm talking about. Don't blame everybody. Can't blame everybody, man. Yes, a great deal of this is self-inflicted. But it certainly is not the end. Can't be. Are you telling me this is it? In the 30s, people loved cars. Pull up with a car, woman jump right in. You know, guy with the bike can't make out. Nothing has changed. And mysteriously, certain young ladies who wouldn't let anybody touch them had to go down south for the summer or the winter. And when they came back, their mother had had a baby. Oh, yes. Well, that's the way it used to be. Yeah, she get pregnant, they send her down south. If she's down south, she went north. Just for vacation, a couple of months, then when she came back, her mother had a baby. Today it's different, they just have them. Just have them. 3, 4 of them. I remember how embarrassed the woman made me feel. I was a lifeguard. This is 1963, and the lady, girl really, had 2, 1, 2, and 1 was in her. And she called the boy who I was the lifeguard, public swimming pool. And she called. In those days they didn't have the Muslim names yet. They said Richard. And Richard came over, and he went in and pulled a cigarette out. Gave her a cigarette. Wasn't a joint, cigarette. She wanted a cigarette. Richard is the father of one of the children. One. Get a cigarette from him, and I went over to her and I said, "Are these your children?" I'm going to Temple University at the time, see. I'm ready to make a change in the world. And I want to talk to this young lady. Are these your children, miss? Because I was born right in that area, right in that, 12th and Poplar and all of that, and I'm down there. I'm now the lifeguard in the pool that I used to go into as a kid. You know I'm hot stuff. In command of my neighborhood. And I said, if these your children, I said, you had these children and you have a, she said, so? I said, yeah, but you don't have a job, these boys don't have, she said, so? And she just kept it up. Every time I said something, she said, so? Nothing I could do. She just sold me right on into embarrassment. I'm talking about today. I'm talking about today, and I don't want you to be afraid. Don't be afraid. You can't be afraid. Last time you all demonstrated about anything was 1988. Your predecessors. And I'm saying it's time for you to demonstrate again. But now, wait a minute, you don't even know what I'm talking about. See, you see how ready you are? They're ready. They're ready. I'm saying demonstrate about yourselves. And are you dared? Look at who you are. Take that easy taste out of your mouth, because America is a very bitter place for dead people. I'm saying you don't need people to come up here and put vanilla and polish over half-truths so that you can walk out and do nothing. I'm charging you nothing for today's thing. You don't have to put anything in a bucket. I'm saying to you, you know when you're wrong, and you know who you owe, and you know who owes you, and you know what ought to be important. You got grandma coming to graduation. Ask her about foolishness. Ask your grandmother what she would like to see. Smell her perfume when you talk to her on graduation day. Look at how clear her glasses are so she could see you. Look at granddad. People spent pension money to come to your graduation. And African-American colleges all over the United States of America, these graduations go on. People dressed in orange and red, colors that they dare, you don't see them at other graduations. Fathers with suits on and a shirt done, doing like this, and the only time they wear them is a funeral or a graduation. Fathers. And I don't care if you don't have a father, if you haven't seen one, so what? Get on with your life. And if you don't have a mother, so what? Get on with it. If your mother's a drunkard, if your father's a junkie, get on with your life, because it's about you. You are polluting if you're going to sit around and whine and talk about who did what and why you couldn't. This is your country. Got a problem at Howard? See somebody. And if they won't see you, there's your revolution. You come out of here with a C average, then you're begging white people to affirm the action. Now, why at this point you want to go around begging white people when you don't know them, and you're going to beg, and what's more embarrassing, you're embarrassing the person behind you because you're not qualified with your professional C self. And standing behind you is a brother or sister with an A average, and you're wasting their time while you're arguing about your C average self. Now, is that black or what? Now, which one of the people in line is black? Because the one with the A's, he's studying, he's acting white. Really? You mean the lazy C student is a real black person? Is that what you're saying? When the Huxtables were on television, and so many people, now wait, so many people, I heard it until it was just ridiculous and stupid. Well, you know, that's not a real black family. So I said, well, you know, you need to get out more often. even if it wasn't, does anybody have a problem with seeing the future? Does anybody have a problem with seeing a family say to their children, you will do this because I know more than you. And this is what you will do, and this is what you won't get away with. Anybody have a problem with parenting for a change? So, well, they ain't real, they didn't go to the mall. Well, Cliff said you can't go to the mall. You have to go to the books. Cliff Huxtable made a mistake when he didn't know that Theo was dyslexic. Check it out sometimes when you're watching those shows. That was the beautiful part of that series. Because once they found out that he really wasn't lying about he had tried and he had studied, but he still got a D. And then the family joined and said, well, there's got to be something wrong with him because he's not that good at lying that concretely. And so they found out he was dyslexic, and they cheered. Why? Because something was wrong with the boy. Just wasn't crazy, just hadn't lost his mind. There was something wrong with him. And they began to work at it. And he graduated from NYU. And Huxtable spent $100,000 on his graduation. Cliff's so proud. Go to graduation to see his son go up and get a diploma. But at NYU, they don't do that. They say, all right, everybody was in this, stand up. And the man waved. And Cliff says, well, hell, I didn't have to pay that much money. Could have just bought him a cap and gown and sat him out there and said, stand up, and that's it. We don't do that yet at Howard, do we? No. Huh? You go up somewhere so grandma and granddad can see you, so your siblings, little dumb brothers and sisters, sitting there, getting away with murder. I'm telling you, you got to realize that the speakers coming can't make it easy for you. You've got to study. You've got to pay the price and take the pain and the time to realize that even though it feels good, generally these things have to do with somebody making money from you. Snoop Dogg ate poop, calling you a bitch in the hole, and you're going to buy the record and dance because he's got a good beat. And then you're going to confess to people, well, you know, it really doesn't mean anything. You know, I know right from wrong. Well, why, if you did, why would you listen to him? There's too many things that are just obvious. And you got to wake up. Not you, but you. The people who are dead. That's what I'm saying. I don't think you've really realized how beautiful you can be. You don't need people to tell you that Jews are no good. You don't need somebody to tell you that so you can stand up. And what are you going to do with it in the first place? Well, you just go, huh? Get them off the campus. For what? You can't get them off the campus. Just don't even worry about it. That's what I'm saying. You don't have to remove them, but why cheer somebody like that? It's not true. It's not true because you've got to go through the same kind of decision-making that you're asking people to do about you. Are you dead? You think I'm lying? If you want people to judge you as an individual, if you want to get a job, the man says, no black people. He says, wait a minute, man. You say we all make too much noise, we all do that. Aren't you saying to people, don't judge me like that? You're stereotyping me. Am I correct? I'm saying to you, if you know Jewish Polish, Jewish Russian, Jewish German, and all of them are like that, then you're the first person that I've ever met that had tremendous bad luck. You know Irish people, that all Irish people are like that. But if you continue to take the easy way out, and all you're going to do is pout, you see a white person, you just roll your eyes, you go up and you listen to this speaker tell you that the people of poverty pay their heart and the poor to win the bridge, and you go, yeah, and then you go outside. You don't own an airport, you don't own a department store. You gotta get a pride in yourselves. You gotta communicate with each other. You gotta get rid of this easy thing. You sit up and go to these movies and people are banging and throwing women off, and you're paying top dollar to Hollywood movies that say this is all you like. But if you stop going to these movies, Jesse Jackson doesn't have to go to Hollywood and have black actresses make a fool of him on TV. But you had to expect a remark like that to come from that person, because didn't they have a boyfriend that put on blackface and went to? Now, let's get back to you now. I'm telling you, the most difficult thing for your young lives is to begin to disassociate yourself from stereotyping, especially when you don't want anybody doing it about you. First of all, you're young, you don't have any power. So how are you going to get rid of somebody? Secondly, you're young and you owe everybody. So who's going to pay attention to you? Thirdly, you're young and you're confused. You don't know how to do anything. You just wish upon graduation somebody would just take you and say, come here, let me hide you for a couple of months until all the expectations roll away. There's so much BS to be sold. I just don't want you, I don't ever want to see your faces cheering on somebody and they're just giving you a half a piece of bread. Half a piece of bread. I know you're hungry for truth, and I know you're hungry for honesty, and I know you're especially hungry for somebody somewhere to say, I'm fair. But in the meantime, we all have to live like that as well. Your life will not be any easier for you to follow speakers who will throw up things and you have somebody to blame. Because what you do then is very dangerous. You begin to vote people in the office who are like that too. And there you still sit somewhere close to the projects. Are you dead? I want to thank everybody for the time, and especially the little children who thought they were going to get some free Jell-O pudding. I want to tell you also that you all can become our heroes. Very important. And I mean celebrities. We would love to look out and just be proud. So, thank you all very, very much. Good afternoon.